this WrestleTalk news, have talks broken down between Cody Rhodes and WWE? WWE frees Russia out of their programming, and what Tony Khan plans to do with Ring of Honor and WWE's play to buy it before him. So subscribe and enable notifications to Always On for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
In what might be the biggest defection in modern wrestling history, AEW original and former executive vice president Cody Rhodes is reported to be jumping ship back to the ship that he left in order to build his own ship, which he now doesn't like. Wrestling. However, after an initial flurry of speculation and some not so subtle teasing by WWE, Sean Ross Sapp reported in a Q&A session last week that things had eerily gone quiet on the Cody in WWE contract talks front. Now, Cassidy Haynes of Bodyslam.net is reporting that while investigating Tony Khan's purchase of Ring of Honor with sources within AEW, he was told that Brandi and Cody Rhodes leaving the company was very much real life and was not a work. They were also told that discussions between WWE and Cody had been ongoing, but those conversations had since fizzled out. Now, if this is true, then that leaves Cody in a bit of a weird position. He's unable to return to WWE, and you would assume work with a lot of his dad's copyrighted ideas, and now potentially having to return, cap in hand, to the company that he just walked out on. But it has always been said that bridges hadn't been burned in AEW, and one source Bodyslam spoke to said that there is hope that Cody could be brought back into the AEW fold. The idea even floated that he would take up a new role involved in the ROH acquisition. What do you think Cody should do? What would you like to see him do in the future? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, obviously, Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor is a huge deal, not only because it nets him a vast video content library, but also links to some of the best talent in the business and another brand to just do with as he pleases. Booking little wrestling shows, he loves doing that. But there was almost a world in which Ring of Honor belonged to a very different billionaire, VKM. Because according to Mike Johnson of PW Insider, there had been interest from WWE in purchasing the company back when the hiatus was announced last year. The two sides had even reportedly entered into discussions in December, but those talks ended without a deal being reached. Overtures to buy Ring of Honor had previously been made back when Triple H had been in power, before Nick Khan just sort of came in and dismantled everything that Triple H had ever built. Sorry, Triple H. Wrestling Observer Radio's Dave Meltzer noted that back in 2018 was when Trips tried to convince Vince to buy ROH, but ultimately Vinnie Mac wanted to buy somebody bigger. So WWE went after NJPW, Stardom, Noah, and AAA, but weren't willing to pay the right price to make that happen. Some more of that in a moment, but first this.
Before we get on with the rest of the episode, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to this video's sponsor. Who do you think it is? It's Manscaped, where you can get 20% off your order plus free international shipping by clicking the link in the description or going to manscaped.com/WTTV now. Manscaped isn't just all about your balls. With their well-beating waist grooming products, they also now go beyond the groin with their new Plow 2.0 safety razor for a super close shave for your face, neck and beard. Look at this beauty. With its modern yet classic body, its smooth surfaces and dazzling green eyes. I'm talking about me there. I'm talking about my sexy, sexy body. But I don't blame you for watching the Plow 2.0 with its razor burn reducing cutting angle, rust resistant materials and double-sided blades so you can flip it over to start shaving fresh with a new ultra sharp cutting edge. So head over to manscaped.com/WTTV now, because for a limited time only, you can get 20% off plus free shipping. That's manscaped.com/WTTV. Click the link in the video description below now. Support WrestleTalk. Support your grooming regime with Manscaped. And remember, it's all about your balls. And neck and beard too. And face.
So yeah, WWE had made a play for Ring of Honor, but somewhere along the way those talks broke down, and there's apparently just a lot of that going around, right, Cody? So when Tony Khan announced that he had purchased the company, many were shocked in WWE because they thought that Tony Khan was either buying a Japanese promotion that wasn't NJPW, or they thought he was going to be announcing a streaming deal with HBO Max. Since that news broke, plenty of people have been digging in trying to find out more info on the ins and outs of the deal, and Bodyslam noted that Khan paid in the $30 million to $40 million range for ROH, which comes after reports said one person was in talks to buy the company in early 2020 for a discussed 40 million smackers, and one buyer was offered 50% ownership for $30 million. Now, this all came at a time when Ring of Honor actually had multiple high-profile talent contracts and before the hiatus was announced, which could and probably did drop the price considerably. Wrestling Observer Radio also said that the ROH tape library would have been one of the key factors in the deal, as AEW wants a streaming service in some form, and Khan noted in Wednesday's press release that he will immediately begin exploring opportunities to make the ROH video library available to fans. Which is all well and good, but never mind the old stuff. What is TK going to do with the new stuff? How is Ring of Honor going to fit into his wrestling empire, his between the ropes ecosystem? Well, Cassidy Haynes of BodySlam.net has been busy and reported that Khan is essentially looking to make Ring of Honor the developmental brand for AEW. Now, no one is quite sure what that means right now, but it is speculated, of course, that it could act like an NXT-style brand to the main roster AEW branded shows. It was also reported by BodySlam that the main AEW talent would be expected to turn up to the company on occasion, but as we've had no indication of how, when, or where even Ring of Honor programming will return, that all remains to be seen. I mean, there are even pre-existing show dates that have been left up in the air because of this deal. And I think the thing is, Ring of Honor as AEW's developmental might not exactly float everyone's boat, especially the hardcore Ring of Honor fans, but considering that most of the major talent in AEW right now got their start there, it does make some kind of sense. On to some WWE news now, and the company issued a statement yesterday to say that they had shut down the WWE network in Russia. It read that WWE has terminated its partnership with Russian broadcaster Match and shut down WWE Network in Russia effective immediately. The move eliminates any access to Russia to any WWE programming, including the company's weekly Raw, SmackDown and NXT shows, its on-demand library, and all of its premium live events, including WrestleMania 38. Now, this is clearly a response to the ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine and the war that has now spread across that former Soviet country. And a lot of companies are pulling their products and services out of Russia as conflict continues, and many countries have hit them with economic and business sanctions, essentially that soft power way to dissuade Russia from further violence without really using military force, though people are applying military force where needed. And the thing is, in the abstract, Putin's not going to stop a war because he can't watch Brock versus Roman at Mania, because he's also seen it before. But if enough companies do make life different and difficult enough for Russia, those who are following their president into a pig-headed war might just think twice. So this is actually a good move by WWE. In lighter news, Vince McMahon took part in his first live interview in 15 years when he appeared on the Pat McAfee show yesterday, which I covered in a breaking news video for WrestleTalk last night, and is linked in the video description down below if you want to watch it for the full scoop. One thing announced during the show was that Vinnie Mac is going to be personally inducting The Undertaker into the WWE Hall of Fame, an honour that only 3 people have ever had the privilege of, one of which was Donald Trump. Taker responded to this news saying that after over 30 years of long roads travelled, countless hours of TV and one hell of a ride together, I couldn't think of anyone better to put me into the WWE Hall of Fame than Vince McMahon. One final ride together, old timer. Now, Vince said on the Pat McAfee show that this will be one of the most difficult things he's ever done in his career because he gets genuinely emotional talking about Mark Calloway and what he means to him. So the Hall of Fame is basically going to be a very uncomfortable watch, I imagine. A man who hates getting emotional gets emotional. And if he sneezes, all hell is going to break loose. While the old WWE hands get tucked away into the Hall of Fame, though, some fresh blood is needed to swell the ranks, and WWE will be doing that with another set of tryouts. Interestingly, this round calls for more than 50 male and female participants with collegiate athletic backgrounds across football, basketball, track and field, wrestling, volleyball, gymnastics, cheer and dance, according to a press release. The event is also invite only, meaning that WWE has doubled down on this new direction of hiring athletic talent from outside of the wrestling sphere, and seemingly are not going to be inviting any independent wrestlers along to this latest tryout in Frisco, Texas. It means that WWE is going to be focusing on talent with Vince's preferred look and then just teaching them the WWE style of wrestling. So if you have been annoyed with the direction of NXT 2.0 so far, it is only going to get more extreme. And with collegiate athletes in developmental and Pat McAfee at Mania, because that was also announced yesterday, what else could WWE doing to move away from wrestlers, wrestling? Oh yeah, they're bringing back Tyson Fury. Well, maybe. The boxer told Give Me Sport during an interview that 1,000,000% you will see me in the WWE again, 1,000,000%. Now, Fury competed against Braun Strowman at Crown Jewel and reportedly made a pretty penny from the appearance, so whether WWE are going to stump up the cash again for just a regular event, one of their pay-per-views, or they're going to wait until another Saudi show comes round, remains to be seen, but Fury clearly has a wrestling return on his mind. Finally, a very rapid update on Bayley, who is speculating to be returning from her injury time very soon. Now, many thought that she she would return for a Mania match, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And now Mike Johnson of PW Insider is reporting that the current plan is for the former SmackDown Women's Champion to return to TV screens post-Mania. Though this doesn't rule out an appearance at the event, it's just likely not going to be a match. Oh well, Bayley. Ding dong.
Coming up on this week's What's On, the Batman's out!
We've got an interview with the Riddler, Paul Dano, and Gordon, Jeffrey Wright.
We'll be catching up with last Saturday's epic Cineworld Day.